This video is about the world of PHP and what we can use the world of PHP to. Let's have a look at what PHP is. The content of the browser is kind of static in terms of HTML and CSS. The JavaScript and the CSS3 of course makes it more dynamic, but the site becomes fully dynamic when we invite PHP to join our family of technologies. You can say that the browser is static, and when you want to make it more dynamic, the content, you can invite PHP inside and make it more dynamic with the features of PHP. So, what can we do with PHP? Here's some examples. For example, you want to make a secure area on your website, so you make a login, and the PHP makes it possible to receive this login and validate that the user is okay or is not okay. And you can make a blog. A blog can be made in a static website with plain PHP, plain HTML and CSS. But if you want to make it more dynamic, that means want to add tags and categories and search and all that, then you have to have a kind of server scripting language, and PHP is very suitable for that. If you want to send out newsletters and enable your users to subscribe to them, then you need a form like the login form before, and receive the email address and perhaps some name, and click on the subscribe button, and then the user is subscribed. And you can of course also make a gallery. You can make a gallery in plain HTML, JavaScript, but if you want to be able to upload the images, then you need to have a script on the server that can receive these images and then store them on the server. It's kind of the same when you upload it with an FTP program. So the communication between the browser and the server goes something like this. You have perhaps a HTML page in the browser which sends a request. The request for a page or request that involves some data that the server can send something back, or the server can do something with this request. It can perhaps find out what has been sent and then store it in a database, or it can send an email, or it can manipulate the data so the user sees something that is more dynamic. What can we then use PHP for? Let's have a look at some examples. In this case, we have a static page, an index page with a header, menu, content and footer. We have an about HTML, which holds some information about the company, for example, or if it's our blog, an about page about ourselves, and then a contact page with some HTML. For the content, it could be just an email address, or it could be a form. Both or these three pages all share something in common. They have the same header, the same menu, and the same footer. Let's have a look at this index page. When we want to work with including files, which we are doing here, then we need to change the name of the page. Instead of index.html, it has to have the name index.php. So we will take this header content and put it into a file called header.inc.php. It can have the name header.php, but I usually put in inc to signify that this is an include file. And the same goes for the menu, menu.inc.php, and the footer as well. This means that we now can include all three files in all the pages that we use, that we have on our site. And like this, it illustrates that all the orange areas will be our includes, and all the black and the purple and the green area will of course be some specific content related to that page. That also means that when we want to make some changes for the footer, or perhaps for the menu or the header, we only have to go in one file and do the updates, like we do when we have a CSS file or when we have a JavaScript file which we include on several pages. And that minimizes the work of maintenance and updates. Another example is a contact form, like we talked about earlier in this presentation. The contact form can, for example, in this case, hold a name, an email, and a message, and then a button, which when the user clicks the button will send all the data to another PHP page. So let's have a look. We have a server here. We have a contact page. It could be contact.html, but we call it contact.php because we include the header and the menu on the footer, like we did in the index and we did in the about page. So when the user clicks the send button, it sends the form data to the server. The server will then create an email and send it right away, and then send back some response to the user. It could be a response like this: "Thank you for your message. I will get back to you as soon as possible." Perhaps you want the response to include the name of the user to personalize your message a little bit more, and then it's possible because on the server you receive the name that the user has typed in the form, and you can then mix it with the HTML so the user sees a message that is more personal. So what's next? The next is to have a look at how to include the files in PHP, and I'll do a coding session, and you can find that video as well on YouTube.